Every year, this company produces more than 500,000 authentic cowboy hats. A Stetson hat can cost more than $5,000 and its production is a complicated and expensive process. But how are Stetson cowboy hats made? We visited the Stetson factory in Texas to discover how a hat is made. The cowboy hat became popular in 1865 thanks to the Stetson Art Company and its founder, John Stetson. The company remains one of the most recognized brands in the manufacturing of high-quality hats. There is no greater symbol of the American cowboy than his distinctive hat. Used as shields against the burning sun and the driving rain, cowboy hats are water-resistant. The production of these legendary hats is a complicated and costly process. It all begins in Texas, where workers transform hair into felt. In its Longview factory, European rabbit hare, beaver hare, and Argentine hare arrive. Hare is more resistant to weather, dirt, and more durable than wool. This type of hare is not cheap. Just half a kilo of beaver hair can cost $125, and chinchilla hair can cost up to 4 times more. The process begins by mixing the different types of hair. First, a worker collects the mixture of different hairs and deposits it in a mixing machine that begins to combine them. The mixing roller, dating back to the 1890s, sends the hair to a mixer within the mixer. Compressed air blows the hair, allowing it to settle and removing any trapped dust or dirt. After about an hour, the mixed hair is deposited into a collection box. A worker places it into a rotating loading machine that sends the hair to a multi-chamber blower. The problem is that the fibers are still very long and that ruins the top-quality felt. So this old and invaluable machine removes the long hairs and spreads rolls of authentic short hair. The short fibers adhere better and create a stronger hat. So this machine takes care of removing the longer hairs. It expels them from the bottom, while the shorter hairs remain in the mixture inside the blower. You can see a series of mixing rollers. These rollers, together with the blown air, allow the lighter hair to flow through the chambers, while the heavier hair and impurities fall to the bottom at the back of the blower. The worker collects and weighs the amount of hair needed to make a single hat. For this model, 230 grams of hair are weighed. The factory machines are fundamental, but the work could not be done without experienced operators. The company employs more than 200 workers in 2 factories, who guide the hats through each stage of the process. The proper amount of hair is transported on a conveyor belt to a forming machine. There, a vacuum sucks the hair over a shaping cone. At this point, the material is very loose, fragile, and similar to cotton candy. The cone is about 8 times larger than the hat for extra protection. A worker wraps the cone with a wet cloth and places a metal cover over it. Then he submerges it in a hot soapy water bath so that the hair fibers shrink and interlock. The water at 70 degrees Celsius initiates the process to form the felt by shrinking and compacting the hair fibers. Shortly after, the worker peels the newly formed hair blanket off the cone. At this stage, the intertwined hair fibers are still very fragile, so a worker protects them by wrapping them in cloth. Then they are subjected to a hardening process consisting of a series of massage rollers and hot water baths. The hats pass through the machine 6 times, reducing their size by about 10 centimeters. The rollers and hot water baths progressively shrink and tighten the hair fibers. The final and most intense massage bonds the fibers even more, and the cone is strong enough to be handled by hand, but the cones must be even more resistant, so they go through a final hardening stage that shrinks and tightens the hair fibers to the maximum. Next, the fragile cone that came out of the forming machine is turned into the desired hat size. Then the hat bodies are placed in pressure molds. The basic model is too flexible for a rugged cowboy. The key to making it stiffer is a resin called shellac. The hats receive a layer of natural shellac made from beetle saliva. Shellac helps harden the hat. Without shellac, a hat would be as soft as a dish rag. The shellac must dry before the hats go through the shaping and molding process. This is where the hat begins to take its final shape. Through stretching and pulling, the crown is molded, but they won't be complete until they have the crown that serves to insulate the owner's head and protect it from rain. After being dyed, the cones are placed in a crown molding machine. The worker shapes the top of the cone and makes the felt more flexible. Another machine smooths the brim. Together, the machines give the cone a shape more like a hat. After soaking the cone again, a worker places it in a wet blocking machine. Its brass fingers grip and stretch the felt while shaping the crown of the hat. Then he places the body of the hat into a vacuum that extracts most of the water. After that, they are left to dry for 24 hours. Once dry, these hats travel 130 miles by road to the Stetson finishing factory in Garland, Texas. This is the largest cowboy hat finishing factory in the world. The hats arrive at the Garland factory shrunk, dyed, and ready for polishing. In the finishing process, the hat is sanded with sandpaper. This is where a hat becomes a piece with a smooth and elegant texture. Even when a machine works on the hat, a worker must be present to guide it and feel the texture. The operator decides when it reaches the right thickness. The only drawback is that these sanders leave small felt balls on the surface, but they can easily be removed with fire. Then the worker places the hat in a hydraulic crown press. Inside, he places a piece of ink transfer paper in a heated aluminum mold. He lowers the press and applies the exact pressure needed to mold a specific shape into the crown. On this particular hat, the press prints the logo inside. Now the crown has a distinctive shape. Next, a worker places the hat in a cutter and secures it with a cutting guide. Then the hat goes to an aluminum brim shaping machine that heats and shapes the brim to create the crease. A rubber mold is placed inside the body of the hat under 80 pounds of pressure. Then the edge is beveled for a clean, polished finish. After that, the worker places the hat on an identical wooden block and covers it so that it holds its shape while cooling. The hat is inspected and cleaned and finally ready for the final finishing. At other stations, craftsmen use scissors and pliers to secure the belt decoration. Others cut and hand sew the leather band and the lining inside. Finally, a final inspection is carried out to ensure these hats are perfect. Loose threads are trimmed and carefully cleaned. Then it is placed in a bag and packaged for shipping. Made with quality materials and using traditional processes, Stetson hats are built to last a lifetime. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and share it with someone who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to keep learning.